Hi there. Today I'm going to show you guys my insulin pump, and I get a lot of questions about type 1 diabetes and about my insulin pump and how it works and all that. I used to do shots. If you don't know type 1 diabetes, you got to take insulin. When I first was diagnosed, I would do needles. There was two different kinds of insulin. There was a long-acting insulin that would last throughout the day, 24 hours. So I would split that in two and take one in the morning, one at night. And then when I had to eat something, anything with carbohydrates, I would have to take additional insulin, a short-acting insulin. So I would have to do, it was based on how many carbohydrates I would eat. So for instance, I was on a 10-to-1 ratio. So if I had 10 grams of carbs, I would need 1 unit of insulin. And there were these little pens. It was kind of convenient, just carry a pen in your pocket. But you had to do math. And with the pump, it's pretty nice because that math's stored in there. You just tell it how many carbs you're eating, and it gives you the right amount. The other thing about this pump is it uses a sensor. This is the old sensor here. This goes, I don't know if you guys can see, there's a little wire that actually goes under your skin, and it reads your blood sugar. This part here is the transmitter. It's on this little charger right now. It's all charged, but then it attaches here. And then, so this transmitter sends the signal to the pump, and then the thing about this pump is it makes adjustments on its own. It'll keep, you know, if your sugar starts going up, it says 200. There's also alarms too. If it goes too high, it'll give you an alarm. If it goes too low, it'll give you an alarm. But along the way, it will make adjustments on its own to try and keep you in the target range. This pump, the target is 120. There's a newer model coming out that you can lower it to 100. And so yeah, it's gonna make adjustments on insulin delivery based on my blood sugar. It's gonna read off what the sensor says and says, hey, he's going a little high, let's give him some more insulin. He's going a little low, let's back off the insulin. So if you look here, I'll show up, won't let me because I don't have a sensor attached, but there's a little graph in here that shows you how much insulin it gives you. Basically, it makes an adjustment every 5 minutes based off of your blood glucose level, whatever the sensor is reading. And for my car guys, it's a lot like a closed loop fueling system. It reads off the sensor and then makes adjustments to try achieve that target of 120. So if you guys saw my other post, I had a naked shower day today, and what that means is there's two parts to this pump. It has the infusion set, which is what attaches to your body to give you the insulin, and then there's the sensor part. And the sensor you change every 7 days, which I make it last an extra week because these are expensive. These are $85 a piece, even with insurance. It's ridiculous. I pay like $400 a month for all my supplies, so it's expensive, but this system is really worth it in my opinion. So naked shower day happens when it's time to change this thing and also time to change this thing. This is the infusion set. This part is what attaches to your body. I don't know if you can see there's a little tiny hose right there, and that'll go under your skin, and that's how the insulin gets into your body. This part attaches here. This part attaches to this guy, which will fill with insulin. It screws in there and goes in a pump like this. And inside the pump, there's like a little plunger in there that, you know, pushes on this and pushes insulin into your body. So first thing I'm going to do is the sensor. It's this guy right here. It's a new sensor. They give you a little inserter job. You put it in there. Now usually I have my girlfriend help me do this because I put it on my arm and it's a little tricky. But this just goes in here like this. And you push down on it, you remove this part, and that's it. The sensor is ready to go in. I should have said this from the beginning. You're not going to see any needles. There are needles involved, but the technology, you don't see the needle. Sometimes you feel it. But yeah, there's a needle here that's going to insert this little wire, the one under my skin, and then you pull the needle out and the wire stays. So let's see if I can do this. I usually do it on my arm. You can do it on your abdomen. People who do it on their thigh. I like it on my arm here. There, it's in. Didn't feel a thing. Now the tricky part is removing this guy. This is why I have her help me usually. Try and remove this without... There we go. Piece of cake. Now there's tape under here. Pull this tape out. Bang. Like that. Push that down. And then there's another cover piece of tape. And this is the tricky one. This is why I help her. I mean, I have her help me. Let's see if I got skills. I've done this in the mirror before. This little flap right here is the... It's called the diaper. So I'm going to put that on like that. Like that. Shirt straight. Straight kind of. And it's got these flaps here. You pull. Bam. Just like that. Yeah. I like when she helps me because, you know, you shower and everything with this on. So if it's not taped perfectly good, it might fall off early. Because like I said, this stays on. It's supposed to be 7 days, but I make them last 2 weeks. But on the second week, they tend to get, you know, sometimes the readings aren't perfectly accurate, which you have to calibrate this thing. And how you calibrate it is with this guy. You have to, you got these little strips that you put a drop of blood in there, and then you stick it in here, and it'll give you a number. And then you tell the pump what that number is, and then it's going to see if it's jiving with what the sensor is reading. So that's that. The other part is the transmitter. So now the sensor's in. Here's the transmitter. Remove it from the charger. Now I'm going to turn it on in here because you got to set it up so it knows you put a new sensor in. Down to utilities, sensor settings, sensor on, sensor connections, start new sensor. Hit OK. And then when I plug this bad boy in, it should blink. And start, it's searching. And so there it goes, blinking. If you guys saw that, see that blink, blink, blink. So it's found it. And now this thing will go into what it says. If you can see it, it says warm up. It's upside down, but it says warm up. So it's going to take 2 hours for it to warm up, and then it'll tell me, hey, what's your blood sugar? And then I'll tell it, and then bam, the sensor's up and running. So that was the sensor insertion. That was the hard part, actually, because usually I have my girlfriend help me. But so that's that. Now the next thing I got to do is the infusion set. This is the infusion set. This is the old one. I just throw this away. I just had it out so you guys could see. And let me get that out of there. Get that out of there. Here's the infusion set. Comes in a little package. Nice. I just switched to these. These are called Mio Advance. The old ones I've been on for like 10 years, and they worked great. But these are much better. The old ones, this was the inserter for the old ones. Basically, you would put the infusion set in here, and you cock it back, and then you put it against your skin, and you would put it in, and then you would pull the needle out, throw it away. But these are, it's all built in. This jobby, you just remove this guy here, a little clip, you take this tape off. There's the sticky tape. And then I'm going to show you guys a little bit of booty because I wear it on, you can wear it anywhere there's fat. I don't have much body fat, so I usually go like on my upper, below the belt line there. So, but these are really nice because it's just one button and you don't see any needles ever. A little bit of booty there for you guys. Put it on there against your skin, press the button, done. Don't even feel anything. See, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want a pump attached to me, this, that, and the other thing. But the alternative is needles, you know? And like I said, when I was doing needles, I would do one in the morning, one at night, and then anytime I ate something. So if you eat 3 meals a day, that's 5 needles a day right there. Plus doing the finger sticks, because you're supposed to check your sugar before every meal to make sure, you know. So if you're doing that, that's another at least 3. So you're looking at, you know, 8, 9, 10 needles a day. So with this pump and this sensor setup, the sensor you calibrate twice a day. So I check it. I check my blood sugar in the morning, and then I'll usually check it before dinner, and that's it. And there's no other needles, but besides the infusion set, which the infusion set you have to change every 3 days. The reason is, any longer than that, you start getting scar tissue, and then scar tissue doesn't absorb insulin well. So if it starts building up, you start running out of spots to put the infusion set in, and it also hurts. If you hit scar tissue, it hurts like a mofo. So yeah, there's that, and I'm gonna refill the pump. Now I gotta go into the settings here and hit the rewind button, basically because the plunger is all the way up here. Go reservoir and tubing, new reservoir, rewind. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's rewinding. So it's rewinding now, and this guy right here is the new reservoir. And it's a little fancy schmancy little, there's a needle there. Take the insulin. There's the insulin. Stick it in there, you pull it down. And you fill this guy up with insulin. Now I only put, you know, how much I need for 3 days roughly. You put any more in there, and there's a shelf life for insulin. It doesn't like to be in, you know, room temperature, warm temperatures, but it will last a couple days, you know, in here. So it's going to vary from person to person. Everybody uses a different amount of insulin. For me, 200 units or 2,000, whatever that is, will last me about 3 days. And it also depends on your diet too. If you're low carb and you're not eating many carbohydrates, guess what? You don't need a lot of insulin. So, you know, if you're eating pasta every day, then you're going to use more insulin. Yeah. So there's that. There's the insulin. And then here's the other infusion, part of the infusion set. Now let me show you. I put it on there and I showed you guys, but this part attaches right here. Basically just clips in. There's a little protective cap here, and it's going to clip in on this guy right there. But I got to attach this hose to it first. Now, I mean, I'm taking a little longer because I'm explaining everything, but usually I get this done in, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes. It's usually not that long. So you put this bad guy in there, screw it, lock it, and then you go to settings in here and you load it up. Now what I'm going to do is prime this hose, fill this hose with insulin. You hold the button, and you can hear it. Oh. Hear that? Oh yeah. It's a little machine in there, little motor. And it takes a couple seconds to get to it. There you go. Now that plunger's right up against now. And then you got to fill the hose, which I'll keep an eye on, because you don't want any air bubbles. There it goes. It's coming through. It's coming through, and you can see it. Little driplets. There's the driplets. Good. It's full. Now, just attach this guy here with that, and then the next step is to fill the cannula, that little thing that's under my skin, this little guy right here. That takes some insulin too. So you fill that thing. It takes like half a unit or something. And now it's filling that part up. And that's it. I'm done. Tuck it into my panties. That's it. So now I got all this trash to throw away. But yeah, that's about it. Now I just gotta wait for the 2-hour warm-up to happen. And then I'll check my blood sugar with this guy. Put a little strip in there. And then we'll be good for another 7 days. And then once the 7 days is up, I'll restart the sensor. Like I said, I'll use it for 2 weeks. Basically, just disconnect that little transmitter, pull it out a little bit, go into the pump settings, start new sensor, plug it back in, and then it thinks I put a new sensor in. Yeah, I save a little money doing that. I don't do it on the infusion sets because, again, it causes scar tissue. These, for whatever reason, this is extremely small, and it's a real thin, tiny wire. It's like a hair, you know. It's amazing that this little tiny wire can actually create a signal that tells you what your blood sugar is. It's pretty amazing, this stuff. So, yeah, that's about it. Any questions? Let me know. See ya.